make sure you're subscribed to JerCrispy.
What's up, y'all? Show some most that's the most JerCrispy. Welcome back to another video. We're back with another video. The Stranger Things finale is good. I don't know. Saying it got me mixed reviews on that mug too. I don't know, bro. Like it's like why did 11 die? I don't know why it was a point of 11 dying to me. I feel like that was just pointless. Venos or whatever your name was, you weak. I take that back what I said in Blank Boy video. Oh, you got them hands? No, you don't got them hands. Vecna, you trash. You ass. You're trash. Vecna, like they was hyping that man up like he was like him just to die in 2 minutes, bro. Like me watching that before New Year's hit, bro. Like, bro, I'm like, you couldn't, bro. You couldn't just told me that. Nah, bro.
10 years, 5 seasons. The journey is now concluded. I didn't make a review after Volume 2 dropped. I made one after Volume 1. I had a hot take people didn't quite like, perhaps a little too spicy. I thought it was a pretty underwhelming start. Volume 2 rolls around and people are singing a little bit of a different tune there. I thought it was even weaker than Volume 1. Since the finale aired, I'm going to give you my all-encompassing review of the Stranger Things Season 5. So with Volume 2, I thought it introduced even more ass pulls. So now all of a sudden, Mama Wheeler is a superhero. She like instantly overcomes her injuries, and as they're being chased by the Demogorgon dogs, the Demo dogs, Robin, Lucas, and Max are in a laundry room in the hospital after the Demo dogs have annihilated some soldiers. And while there, he is still playing Kate Bush to try and help Max back to the corporeal realm. And as they're taking cover by a washing machine, the Demo dogs are scouring the area. It's 3 of them. And they're looking around as slow as possible. They're moving slower than I would if you fed me fucking 15 shots of absinthe. Like, it is unbelievable how slow they're moving. Robin even makes a mention to Lucas, like, hey, turn off that fucking Kate Bush. We gotta pipe down here real quick or we're gonna die. And he's like, nope. So he doesn't. The Kate Bush is still playing. Somehow this doesn't alert the dogs in any way, shape, or form to their location. Maybe they're huge Kate Bush fans and didn't want to interrupt the track. Or maybe they're completely deaf. But as the dogs get closer, that's when Mama Wheeler pops in. Because she had actually booby-trapped one of the washing machines. She put an explosive in there. And as the washing machine starts, all 3 dogs all of a sudden get alerted to it. I'm guessing by sound, so they're not fully deaf. And then they're just watching the washing machine complete its cycle with the explosive in there, blows up, kills all 3. Mama Wheeler saves the day. And literally like 2 episodes ago, we just saw that she can't really move and she literally can't speak. But in this episode, not only can she move and speak, but she is like the fucking Terminator and even has a full conversation about how she needs to get her daughter back. So I guess she has Wolverine's healing factor now, I suppose. But that's just indicative of my main complaint of this season, where everything just happens with no real explanation for how that's even possible for it to be happening in that way. Yeah, everything is just so fucking convenient.
Because ain't no way if a real dog just hear music and not just gonna listen to that. Like, I don't care, bro. If they was like part of the underworld, they only could hear like actual sound, than music and stuff like that. That's bullshit, bro. Like right there.
And there is such a complete disregard for stakes anymore because everyone is basically immortal. We're going to be getting into spoilers here for the finale now, so big spoiler warning. I thought for sure in the finale this is where it was going to get dark, like they had hinted at so many times about there's going to be like dark Christmas for Stranger Things, that kind of thing. And still, even in the finale, nobody dies except for one character they brought back, which was Elle's sister, who we hadn't seen since Season 2 in the most hated episode in the entire fucking history of the series, basically. Well, second only to the conclusion of Volume 2, I suppose. So a character we don't know, can't really care about, who had very little screen time in the season, is the one they decided to kill as the emotional moment. But there was just a complete reluctance here from the writers to actually kill off characters that would have made sense to kill off in that moment for like a whole completed character arc, and to remind the audience that this is an intense situation. This is, life or death scenarios. It's not Weenie Hut Jr. Previous seasons, they had no problem doing that. Killing off Eddie in last season, for example. I thought they executed that very well. It was emotional. But in this season, they almost kind of make his death a joke. Like, it really feels worthless because the Upside Down is no longer a scary enemy in and of itself. The Upside Down is basically just going to the park, except it's dark and cloudy. That's it. Those bats that annihilated Eddie, that he sacrificed himself trying to save everyone with those bats, they're not even here. They don't exist anymore. I guess the bats were so impressed with his courage that they all killed themselves. I mean, you could make a leap saying, like, the military went in and wiped them all out. Maybe, I guess. That's not something they showed. Or you could talk about, like, Vecna's pseudo-defeat, maybe having all the bats go extinct. I guess, maybe. But even still, that choice to no longer have, like, actual enemies or terror in the Upside Down takes so much wind out of its sails. You can literally just fucking spring break there. And they spend most of the season doing that in the Upside Down. I just don't like how afraid they were to kill off characters or even really put them in scenarios.
And what characters, as we thinking, what characters you think they would actually kill off? Like fully just never bring them back to theme. What would be some characters y'all think they should have just killed off, though? Low key, I'm not gonna hold you. If they killed that nigga Lucas or Dusty off, I was gonna be mad. Like, I ain't lying to you. And I'm not gonna hold you. I didn't even know Will was gay. I promise you I did not know that nigga Will was gay. I did not know. I did not know to the final season, bro. Like, bro, you know how long it took him to finally sum this up and bring it back, bro? I was like, I thought, like, Will was straight, too. So I saw that part that him in the bar and the dude was, I was like, oh, never mind.
Of peril where you thought they might die. There was only, like, one or two moments where I thought, oh, this character's going to die here, and then they didn't. And I don't want this to get twisted because you don't have to have characters dying left and right in order to make it a compelling emotional story. But Stranger Things, across 4 seasons, did use that as a very effective tool in this universe. So to have it all of a sudden no longer be present in any way, shape, or form, it feels underwhelming, especially for what's supposed to be the gloves coming off final season finale that we've been building to for a fucking decade. And it just felt so easy for them to do exactly what they wanted, everything falling exactly how they needed it to according to plan. And if things were a little cattywampus out of whack, it was like that to fix it. It just felt so simple for them. So I just leave feeling underwhelmed. Now, of course, everyone was talking about and making fun of Volume 2's final episode with Will, taking control of Vecna and turning his head saying, run, that kind of thing. And also the Will coming out scene, a lot of people were clowning on that for being not very great, especially compared to how they handled similar subject matter in the previous season, where they turned it into like a basically Avengers in-game moment or like Lord of the Rings and My Axe, that kind of thing. It does just feel like season 5 felt very rushed in its writing, where they knew what points they wanted to hit and they kind of just threw caution to the wind to getting to those points in the plot. Like the Mind Flayer being...
I feel like there was some parts they were missing out of them parts. So, like how old girl just came back from that coma, bro. It was like, and then automatically she could just start walking out of nowhere off a rip. I'm like, damn. I'm like, hold on. You've been in a coma for at least about a little minute now. My nigga Lucas was in that mud crying. He was in that mud crying. Yes. Tears down his eyes, man. And as soon as she get off the wheelchair, she's moving, she's stomping and running and all that and hiding and already doing all this. I'm like, what?
Brought back into the fold. I actually like that explanation for how the Mind Flayer played into Vecna and how they were basically, in this symbiotic relationship with one another. Mind Flayer maybe controlling Vecna, but actually not really. Vecna, Henry, he agreed with everything he was shown there, and they are one entity. Very cool, considering we were all led to believe that it was Henry controlling the Mind Flayer. I thought that was cool. We get a little bit of Henry's backstory, which was all right. I didn't love his backstory all that much, but it was decent. What I did really like was the explanation for what the Upside Down is, being a wormhole. I thought that was great. I thought that was a very cool explanation, and it did add a lot to the finale, where it's like his plan is to merge the Abyss, which is where, Henry was blasted, banished to the fucking Shadow Realm in the back rooms, sent him there, and then that wormhole.
There's a creative side hustle almost nobody is talking about, and it's not content creation, being a YouTuber or a streamer or
ties into L's origins. And now that connects Abyss and Hawkins, and the plan is to bring the Abyss and merge it with our dimension, our world, and they have to stop that. I thought that was all very cool. I really liked that. Like, I don't think it was all bad or anything like that. There are some things I liked. I thought there were even some great moments in the season. But on the whole, it just feels like a lot of it was super rushed. And overall, I find it to be the weakest season in the franchise. And being the series finale, the final season, that just leaves me feeling a little underwhelmed. All I'm saying, just a little disappointing. Because, like, some characters that we had watched for 4 seasons prior barely had anything to do in this season. For example, Joyce and Jonathan, it feels like they're not even related anymore. I don't think there is a single moment in this season where Joyce and Jonathan even spoke to each other in anything that resembles, like, you know, love or family. Whereas before, that was a very fleshed out relationship, and now all of a sudden they're fucking strangers to one another. They just brought in so many characters into the fold that some of them that we had followed for a decade just didn't have a whole lot to do and just didn't do fucking anything, really. And one of the main characters in Season 5, Holly, is a character that had nothing to do for the previous 4 seasons, but now has more screen time than I think any other individual character from the main cast. So that's just kind of like a weird decision to make, where now all of a sudden you're bringing in yet another character in an already jam-packed series of characters that now we're spending most of the time with, and kind of sidelining the others, putting them on the bench. Just, it felt like an odd direction to take it. I don't think Holly was like a bad character, and
it's like how they did it for her. It's like you know how in basketball, when y'all already done that beat of the team during halftime, and then like it's third quarter and 2 minutes left. Oh yeah, get in there, Jimmy, get in there, go score you a bucket. And the whole crowd is like, woo! That's how it is, bro.
She goes on with being kidnapped by Henry and everything, I thought was a pretty compelling piece to the season. But I also don't think it necessitated that much screen time and that much focus, which was taken away from the rest of the crew, who then, when we see them, they basically solved all the problems and are in position now to execute their plan, and you're left wondering, well, how the fuck did we even get to this point? You know what I mean? Those are kind of like my broad strokes impressions of Season 5 as a whole, but I want to talk specifically now about the finale, because I liked the finale much more than most of the episodes of this season. But that's not to say it's perfect, and I want to get the complaints on the finale out of the way right now. The biggest complaint I have is just how easy it was to defeat Vecna and the Mind Flayer. They look like actual chumps. You build this up, these two big bad entities, for so long, and we've seen them be somewhat defeated in the past.
Hold on, and let me add on to this part too. You made the dude from that hospital, right? Or whatever 11 was at. I don't know what season that was. You made that nigga that powerful. And then when we get to the final 5th season, we find out why the fuck he's that way. Because he was about to get murked by an old dude that was trying to hide the thing from him. And the thing absorbed in his hand. So dude was supposed to never have powers in the begin with. He was supposed to be a normal kid and stuff like that. But no, he wanted to be nosy and put that mug in his hand, and he saw what he saw. Got cooked. Right, nigga.
But now we see them in, like, prime shape. This is them at their most powerful. And they are easily disposed of. Especially the Mind Flayer. Very cool looking enemy in the Abyss. They make the Mind Flayer look hype as fuck. But deciding we need one person to be bait, which is Nancy, who has become basically like a G.I. Joe super soldier. She's killed like a bunch of people now. She's an elite marksman killing everyone, so she's going to be the bait to shoot the Mind Flayer and have it chase her to a cliffside where the rest of the team is going to ambush it. And they come up with this plan while they are being cornered and chased by the Mind Flayer, meaning that they only have like maybe, a minute at most, but more than likely like 45 seconds to somehow have Nancy be bait for the Mind Flayer without getting caught, this giant creature, and the rest of the crew is going to scale an entire mountainside, get to the top in like a minute, and then start like peppering it from up there. Break. And then they do it. Instantly they do it. Nancy outruns it, gets to the entrance to the cliffside. Everyone's already on top. I guess they fucking teleported it up there, or maybe they had really great climbing gear or free climbed it extremely fast. But they're all up at the very tippy top. They're all Molotov cocktails and flamethrowers at the Mind Flare. Mind Flare just eats it, just fucking tanking it like, ow, ow, ow. It doesn't like fight back. It doesn't have any special moves or anything.
And they sitting there, and like Vietnam just sitting there getting flipped over by 11, saying 11 and them doing. And I'm like, man, no, they hyped this nigga Vietnam to be that nigga. And that nigga L tier. Nigga shit. I'm like, oh, garbage ass nigga. That nigga shit. Garbage ass.
Uses Dustin and Steve go under and start fucking jabbing it with their spears.
Right.
And that's how they're able to stop the Mind Flare. While inside 11 is in a psychic battle with Henry, Vecna. And it's very easy for her to beat him. Because, of course, there's a hive mind, so as they're hurting the Mind Flare, Henry's getting hurt too, but I don't know, it just felt like extremely easy. Like, very easy. She just kind of, like, ragdolls him a couple times, and then, like, he fights back a little bit, kinda, and then he pushes him onto a spike with the help of Will, who's, like, impeding his ability to fight back super well, but I don't know, man. You build up for all this, and then it's that easy to defeat them. It just, I don't know, it just, like I said, feels just a little underwhelming as well.
Disappointing.
My other big complaint is the military here.
So mind you. Hold on, Penguin. Mind you, this nigga down there killed off like a lot of people because of him. And this supposed to be like the fight of the century. We posted this, like, that fight should have at least went on for at least about 30 minutes. At least. That fight went on to 2 minutes, like, nah, bro. It gets to a point.
Evil presence that wants to just make more psychic soldiers, so they want to kidnap Elle, and that's all they really care about. So after they save the day, prevent the Abyss from crashing through, as they're escaping, the military was aware of their plan because they were able to, intercept the others, put it all together. They ambushed them. Big burp, huge belch. And while ambushing them, that's where Elle makes like the heroic sacrifice. And then fast forward 18 months, the military's completely left Hawkins, and all of the characters are back to life as normal. Excuse me? Nancy herself mowed down like 6 soldiers we saw, like from the top of a truck. She just kills like 6 dudes. Hopper killed probably like fucking 40 of them. Like, a lot of soldiers died as a result of our team here that we follow. And I mean, like, directly killed by them. Shot. Murdered. Like, not an accident where, like, a piece of debris fell on them. I mean, like, deliberately they were killed by them. And yet, the military just lets them go. I was shocked to see that. I thought there'd be, like, an explanation where, like, in order to prevent the secrets from getting out, they felt obligated to let them go, sworn to secrecy or something. No, nothing like that. Even after losing so many soldiers, even after a multi-billion-dollar plan here with the psychic program and all of this military personnel that is now dead, all of the destroyed equipment, everything ruined, the military still just lets them go. What the fuck? I was so confused. But again, that's what I'm saying. It just feels like a lot of it's just for the sake of convenience with no real explanation. It just feels rushed. Like, that's crazy to me that after all of that, they just immediately, like, release them. There's not even a mention of them, like, spending time in jail or something and reaching some kind of deal. They're just instantly free to go. Like, after Elle sacrificed herself, I guess Dr. K was like, well, time's up. And then just said, all right, hey, scram. We're going to go ahead and...
Like, yeah, they said, oh, well, we don't need y'all no more. Y'all pointless anyways. Y'all got powers anyways. Like,
leave now. Nothing more to be done here. Unless I missed something, but I don't think I did. And even if I did, I really can't think of any explanation where they'd be like, oh yeah, all those soldiers you killed and everything that you've done here that was highly illegal, that led to so much death and so much destruction, we're okay with that. We're just gonna leave and, let bygones be bygones. That was weird. That was just weird, is all. And I don't want to harp too much on the negatives, because like I said, there were a lot of things I liked about it. But man, come on, for the final fight, it is over in less than 10 minutes and not a single Demogorgon? Like, you're fighting on their home turf. Not a single bat, not a single Demogorgon. It's just Vecna, just Mind Flare, and they just get fucking slammed. They get their hams steamed instantly by the team here.
Right.
Like, come on. Like, it just felt like such a weak final fight. Like, it wasn't climactic. Like, the actual death of Vecna, I thought they did great. Like, after he's defeated, everything that happened after he died, I thought was solid. Basically, everything.
And then, hold on. And then they were celebrating and stuff like that. And, like, dude turned to the military. Mind you, they could have just went home and left. And nothing had to do with the military. So, at that point, they did something. They wanted to do, whoever riding that truck, bro, he had something to do with the military. Saying that dude right there had something to do with the military. I don't know if he was a part of the military a little bit or something. They could have went home and 11 could have came with them. I thought 11 went inside in like the same back of the truck, or I don't know, bro.
And well, excluding the stuff with the military, I thought was handled well. Like, I love Joyce being the one to deliver the final blow to Vecna. I love seeing how awful Vecna was to the cast. Every traumatic experience they went through, having a flashback to it, having seen all of these horrible, irredeemable things that Henry was responsible for before Joyce delivering the final blow, I thought they nailed. But not having like a real, like, you know, intense final fight just weakens that experience. And to have the Abyss, this new area, this new planet that we are told is the home turf where all the Demogorgon, bats, all the nasty evil shit lives. This is their home turf. You're expecting it to be salty spittoon, crazy, scary. But then you get there, all of our heroes get there, it is completely empty. A barren wasteland, more empty than a fucking blockbuster. Not a single iota of life to be found outside of them instantly going to Vecna and the Mind Flayer. There is nothing else there that impedes them on their journey. It just feels super rushed. Now, I want to get to some of the things.
Another thing, why they call it the upside down world? Yeah, it was upside down, but Vecna was at the top of the whole thing the whole time. Like that had got me all weird when I watched that stuff too. Like, everything on the underground was just weird, and Vecna was just in the top of that stuff. I was like, what is that? They call it the upside down world. Don't call it the undown world or something. Like, the fuck, the upside down? Call it the upside down, like the up. Cause like it's going upways, like up. Cause everything was down was just, yeah, that's the villain. That's everything, you know, this and that, blah, 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 blah. But Vecna was at the top of that stuff. So I'm like, man, what?
I liked here about the final episode. As I said, post Vecna death, I really liked how they handled the characters and where they went from there. The epilogue I actually thought was solid, though I do think it dragged quite a bit. I feel like they killed Vecna pretty early on, and then it was like an hour worth of epilogue. So maybe
low key, my theory, and I thought, and they should have did. They should have tried to help Henry to get a better person. Let him be a better person. Like, that's just me, though. I feel like they could have made that nigga Henry way better. I thought that was Billy the whole time. That was Vecna. I thought. That's what I thought it was. But I was like, oh. And they said, oh, no, that's Henry. I was like, oh, never mind.
That was a bit much. But I think overall, they did a good job handling the end of these characters in Hawkins and what that looks like. So seeing, you know, Dustin being valedictorian and giving a really inspirational speech to everyone about, you know, the chaotic good, tying it into Dungeons and Dragons, which, you know, is part of the show's DNA. I thought they handled that great. I thought it was a really good speech. Dustin then moving on to become big bookworm, but still, you know, making time to see his best buddy Steve, and like, you know, Lucas and Max, them just, you know, falling deeper in love over time, having their happily ever after. Will moving to a new area, finding more friends, finding a partner, being accepted. Mike wanting to use his talent for storytelling in order to share, you know, the heroic journey of his friends and his party and what that means in the context of like D&D storytelling. It ending with him watching Holly and her friends now playing D&D in that basement, because now he and his friends have grown up. Now it's the next generation's turn. Like, I do think they did a good job with the epilogue. Steve, Robin, Jonathan, Nancy, where all they ended up at, you know, 18 months after everything, where they have their own jobs, their own lives, but they want to make times to still see each other because
Albion Online is a sandbox MMORPG in which you write your own story instead of following a laid out.
All right, come on now.
They're never going to find friends like what they have. But
Right.
they also don't want to be in Hawkins anymore. You have Joyce and Hopper looking to start fresh, move. He gets a new job, proposes, they're getting married. Like, it's all very touching. I think they did a good job with the emotional beats to wrap up the characters. Now it's time to yap about the big twist with Elle. So, as the military is ambushing them, trying to take Elle after they've saved the world, so that way they can get their psychic program off the ground, seems like, that's checkmate. And then Elle somehow was able to escape their clutches, and she sacrifices herself right in front of everyone. That moment was then undercut with a big twist when Mike revealed that he actually had a theory that wasn't Elle. That was an illusion from Elle's sister. With Elle's sister's dying breath, she made the illusion of Elle getting swallowed by the wormhole's collapse. That way everyone, including her friends, including her father, Hopper, believed she was dead, so that way she could go live a peaceful life off the grid, away from any threats of the military. So Elle is still alive. That's his theory. And it's an interesting idea as a twist. However, in Mike's own theory, he even says, how was she able to, cast that final spell while being suppressed? Because when they're being captured by the military, they had the psychic suppression system activated, meaning she can't use her powers. The entire season has showed she cannot use her powers, and even in the big reveal moment, she is struggling to escape, not using her powers or anything at all as she leaves. However, there's a huge fucking plot hole here where Elle was somehow able to drag Mike into the void to have their final goodbye and their final kiss.
Yeah, hey, hold on. Shout out to my nigga Lucas and his girl, man. My nigga Lucas got him a kiss. And my nigga Dusty was about to get some play. Hey, that boy, I had got happy for my nigga Dusty. Shoot, my boy Lucas finally got him a kiss, man. I had to doubt that nigga down there like that. I was like, yeah.
Was Elle able to do that while being suppressed by this military equipment? I guess you could say while she was escaping, she got far enough away that it stopped being effective on her. But I don't think she had enough time to do that. So there's a glaring plot hole that they even point out, how did she cast a spell while being suppressed? That doesn't make sense. And then, when giving the explanation for how that was possible, they still had her use her powers through the suppression with Mike being pulled into Elle's mind with her. That's still her using her ability, right? Through the suppression system. So, there's still question marks for how that would be possible.
Right.
Mike's theory, it does sound plausible if you forget about the suppression system being active at the time. I'm sure Hop would have told him about Callie's death, so this would be something that he could start to rationalize as maybe they had this secret plan together. The twist as an idea, I think, is cool, and it does make sense with, Hopper's speech being so emotional and having Callie hear that, her wanting to maybe do something to save Elle's life so that way she can go live the life that, she's always wanted and always deserved, being able to live peaceful, happy, that kind of thing. But I don't think they were able to really pull it off in a way that makes sense, because you just have to, forget how things have already been established in order for this to work. Also, the lab blew up way before Elle was taken away, and that's where Callie was in Mike's theory, projecting this illusion of Elle. So when it blew up, that should have also fucking evaporated the illusion too, because Callie would have died there way before Elle did, yet the illusion was still there. It persisted. So there's just multiple things about it, this theory, that don't really work when you stop to think about it. Now, there is an explanation I've seen people say that I think kind of makes sense here, that it's a coping mechanism for Mike. This is how he's going to accept what happened and move on, by making up this happily ever after for Elle, even though it's not the reality of it. I think that makes a little more sense, where That didn't happen. That is
at least
just
somebody explained to it. I was trying to look all up on TikTok to see, like, bro. I was like, bro, ain't no way they just gonna kill off like her like that. Just don't kill off her like that.
a story that he's telling that brings him and the rest of the party comfort, believing Elle is out there having her happily ever after as well. But the reality is she did sacrifice herself there in that moment. I think that makes more sense, that this is just his story. This is what he chooses to believe, as opposed to being what actually happened. Just my overall impressions of the season are that it felt rushed, and a lot of things about it I just don't think worked, and kind of betrayed what they had set up for 4 seasons worth of build-up and emotional stakes and weight. And their reluctance to like kill any characters, I do think, was to the detriment of the season. And I really just don't understand why they kept like pretending that this was going to be like the darkest season ever. I hope you're ready to have a fucking sad Christmas with volume 2 coming around and all that. Like, I don't get that. Maybe just the big bait and switch or something, because it really is like the truest happily ever after I've ever seen to a show, to a degree where in some cases it literally just doesn't even make sense how they were able to pull it out of their ass that the characters survived. So I won't yab about it too much. It's already been like fucking 20 minutes. It wasn't a bad finale by any means. Like, I do think there were quite a few things to like about it. But the season as a whole, I think, is definitely the weakest. I think...
Yeah, I think that's a decent ass season for Stranger Things, all of it. But I hope y'all enjoyed the video. Make sure you like, comment, subscribe, follow on social media, pop on the screen. I'm on the road to 500, and I'm out.